Imran Khan's in prison. Imran Khan is disqualified. But as a member of his party, I'm also saying bring on elections. Bring on free and fair elections. We will fight the elections while Imran Khan is in prison. So why are you fearing him so much?
What is the future of Pakistan? And what is the future of Imran Khan? For more than a year, Pakistan has lurched on amid political chaos, in a country where political chaos is all too familiar. It began with a vote of no confidence in 2022, orchestrated by the opposition in parliament to unseat Imran Khan as prime minister, a position he'd held since 2018. Out of office, Khan called his supporters to the streets, leading months of mass rallies that gripped the country.
कि आपने जब तक इलेक्शन का ये गवर्नमेंट अनाउंस नहीं करती, जब तक हम इलेक्शन इनसे जबरदस्ती नहीं करवाते, हमने सड़कों पे होना है, हमने मुजाहरे करने हैं.
An attempt was made on his life, which injured a number of his aides and killed one of them. Still, he continued to protest. The new leaders of Pakistan slammed Khan as an agitator calling for sedition, refusing to accept the democratic process. But he says it's democracy he is trying to protect, against the country's corrupt elite, a meddling US government, and above all, the country's powerful and immovable military that had once helped him ascend to power, but that now stands behind his political rivals. His political battle has turned into a legal one, with dozens of charges brought against him: fraud, sedition, terrorism, selling state secrets. In May, he was sentenced to 3 years for corruption and barred from political life for 5. Then in August, that sentence was suspended, only to be followed by another charge, that of leaking diplomatic cables abroad. Today, Imran Khan remains in prison, fiercely defending his innocence. All of this is happening under the dark cloud of an economic crisis, as the country struggles to manage its ballooning foreign debt and rebuild in the aftermath of last year's devastating floods, which displaced millions of ordinary people and sunk millions more into poverty. Pakistan is overdue to hold fresh elections to build a new government. But could this happen without its most popular political figure? Or does Imran Khan need to step aside and let Pakistan move on without him? Welcome to The Big Picture, a show about the past, the present, and the future. My name is Muhammad Hassan, and today we sit down with former Pakistani minister and former special assistant to Imran Khan, Zulfi Bukhari. As a senior member of Khan's party, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, PTI for short, Bukhari has become a voice on the outside for those advocating for the former prime minister's release, advocating for his innocence. So what happens to Imran Khan now? And can his party survive without its charismatic leader? Zulfi Bukhari, welcome to The Big Picture. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you so much.
As we're speaking today, where is Imran Khan?
Imran Khan has been shifted to one of the bigger prisons in the Twin Cities, Rawalpindi. It's called Adiala Jail. And he was in a different prison, actually in my constituency in Attak. And he got shifted yesterday to this bigger prison. And it's quite ironic because the judgment that the judge gave where he was arrested on, it was this prison that was on the judgment. But they bypassed it and they took him to an old colonial prison which didn't have the same facilities as this prison does. And they kept him there. And the minute they felt that he's built up a resilience and he's quite relaxed there, a judge gave an order to move him back to the prison that's on the original judgment. And Imran Khan said, I'm quite comfortable where I am, I don't want to go. The minute he said that, they decided to pick him up and take him to a different prison. So now they've put him to the original prison where we've been shouting and screaming for the last month that he should have been there from day one, if he should be there at all. And now, as it has it, they've gone back to it. So do we admit that the first prison was illegal? Or is this move illegal? So this is what's going on in the country, unfortunately.
And what do you understand about his condition? How's his health? How is his mental well-being?
Look, I've been able to speak to him. The former First Lady has, his sisters have, and the legal team, parts of the legal team. They all say that as far as it goes mentally, he's as strong as ever. He's very resilient, as we know, as anyone in the world knows Imran Khan. when the tough gets going, the going gets tough. And he really has toughened up in this, and he's showing a lot of resilience. He's in a good mood. He's fighting strong. He's giving strong messaging out to his supporters and voters. Physically, obviously, he's trying to keep himself, you can say, entertained. He does a bit of workout within his solitary confinement cell. He does, just reads books all day, and that's all he can really do. So physically, he's as good as one can be.
And he has been in prison under charges of corruption, and this 3-year sentence. That sentence has been overturned, but he is still in custody, still in prison. Why is that?
Yes, look, the court that he got the judgment on was a very minor session court. The judge that was brought in to give him that decision gave the decision, and then the next day ran off to London to do some course. He got given some course to do, ironically, on human rights, and but the procedure was flawed. The argument of that did he do something illegal or not is secondary, but the procedure of law has to be upheld in order for the judgment to stand, and that wasn't, because he wasn't even allowed to give a defense that day.
And these are these new charges.
This is the original charges of corruption. Yeah. So his legal team was not allowed to speak in court that day, and the judgment and the written judgment, which is 35 pages, all happened within 30 minutes, which is unheard of in Pakistan history. But the funny thing was, or the sad thing was rather, that he was not allowed to give a defense. So even on the grounds of procedure, it's flawed, and hence when it went to the High Court, he got automatic bail. But they didn't give him bail, and they said we need that because he has, the reason given at the time was that he has that international cipher case, and that is in 2 days, and we need to question him a little bit on it, so there's no point releasing him and then putting him in case he needs to come back into prison, so why don't we just keep him in judicial remand, what we call it, for 2 days. 2 days went, and that cipher case got adjourned 6 times. 6 times. And till this day, he's still in prison.
And this is a case relating to the diplomatic cables that were leaked and ended up getting published in The Intercept, which highlights a communication between Washington and the government of Pakistan, basically insinuating that if the Pakistani parliament was to push for a vote of no confidence in Imran Khan, then things would work out well for Pakistan. It was basically insinuating that there was pressure from the U.S.
Yes, it was an American diplomat, and at the end of the day, he was speaking to. He went to visit our ambassador to Washington D.C., and it wasn't a one-on-one farewell kind of friendship meeting. It was note takers and secretaries sitting within the meeting. So everything when diplomats are sitting is very concise and appropriate. I think would be the right word. But unfortunately, in this cipher, what we see is that there was ultimatums given and consequences, and they revolved around Imran Khan being in power or Imran Khan being removed. And like we all read in The Intercept, words such as that if he is not removed, things will only get tougher for Pakistan.
There'll be consequences.
Yes, but however, if he is, Pakistan will be forgiven for all its mistakes. What mistakes we're still all wondering. But this is what it was, which is very undiplomatic kind of language. Washington has neither accepted it or disregarded it because they know that something has taken place. But I think the biggest proof of it is not only the Intercept article, but rather I think the behavior of the U.S. and other Western powers to what is going on in Pakistan, the undemocratic process that's taking place and the unconstitutional process that's taking place.
And this case relates to an accusation that Imran Khan was personally responsible for this diplomatic cable being leaked. Is there any truth to that?
No, because there's two things. First of all, they're saying, he took the cipher he did a big protest and called a lot of people, and it was hundreds of thousands of people came to see him, and he had a piece of paper. This piece of paper was his talking points, and they tried to insinuate that that's the cipher. But however, they're stuck because the Foreign Office has said on many occasions that the cipher is safe where it needs to be, and that is in the Foreign Office. The opposition's or the government at the time, their interior minister, has said that the ciphers were the Foreign Office. Secondly, if he has given any information to the public, as he has on interviews and so on and so forth, we must remember that he has declassified this cipher by the federal government, by the federal cabinet. So the act that he's being tried under is the Official Secrets Act, which is controversial itself. But however, if we for 1 minute hypothetically accept that act isn't controversial, it has no legs when it comes to the cipher because he declassified it. So it's not a classified document anymore because it was declassified by the federal cabinet of Pakistan. So, and again, we have a tweet from the president of Pakistan saying, "I never signed the Secret Officials Act either." So the act itself is controversial, what he's being tried under. So as you can see, it's a circus at the moment.
And if Imran Khan survives these charges, as well as the corruption case, if that kind of goes away, there's still a myriad of charges against him, accusations against him. It's likely that he's going to be in and out of court for the next foreseeable future. How do you describe what's happening right now? He maintains his innocence of all of these charges, but what is happening to an outside audience watching and thinking that this is just a case of a corrupt politician being brought to justice?
The thing is that I think if we look at reality, and I think where the last 16 months Pakistan or the government of Pakistan and now the caretaker has gotten stuck, is that anyone internationally or nationally knows that Imran Khan is not corrupt. And hence his hospitals and his colleges, universities raise the most amount of money and charitable money, not only in Pakistan but probably in the region, And hence he's built so many cancer hospitals because people trust him when it comes to transparency of money. So the narrative doesn't sell. You might have this witch hunt, which is going on at the moment, but Imran Khan is as internationally and nationally everyone knows, is a very straight up, honest human being. And this is why people get a lot attracted to him a lot within the political circles. So if it's not going to be this, state-owned watches and stuff that he bought and then decided to sell, but if it's not that, then it's the cipher case. If it's not the cipher case, there's around 200 odd cases. There's murder charges of people in different cities being murdered and that being put on Imran Khan. They've been dismissed, but it just kind of goes to show you that slowly as these cases are all going to get dismissed, it's just a matter of time, but the point is to keep him in prison until elections happen or elections have concluded. And but it's not working. So we actually have to ask ourselves, it's not working. We've tried to do this witch hunt for 16 months. Imran Khan has hit a popularity level that he's never seen in his life before. 27 years of a political struggle, being prime minister, winning the KP province in 2013. He's never been as popular as he is right now in prison. So what do we do? Where do we go from here? Do we put 500 more cases on him? Do we try to, God forbid, try to assassinate him again? These are the questions that they're probably scratching their head thinking, how do we handle this guy?
And these cases haven't just been brought against him as the leader of the party, but there's been a large number of his party leaders that have also been imprisoned or targeted. What is happening to the rest of the party, the rest of PTI? What does it look like now?
Well, there's a two-pronged attack. We had about 13,000 people in prison. I believe now, after a few bails, we've gone down to around 9,000 to 10,000 people. Our chairman, Imran Khan, is in prison. Our vice chairman, Shah Mahmood Qureshi, two-time foreign minister, is in prison. Our president of the party, our chief minister of Punjab, who was the ex-chief minister of Punjab, is in prison. We have our health minister in prison. We have a number of MPs, MNAs, women. Dr. Yasmin Rashid is one of the most noted women, extremely noble woman. She's 80, cancer survivor. She's been imprisoned for no rhyme or reason, along with many other women. And the point is that the tactic is to throw all these people in prison, and if they agree to do a press conference that I no longer am in politics or I no longer am with Imran Khan and I don't agree with his politics, they're allowed scot-free. But if you don't do it, you will stay in prison or your family will get abducted, or your children, or your women, and this is taking place. It's categorically the biggest human rights abuse that has gone on in Pakistan and in the world right now. That homes are being ransacked in the middle of the night, and when I say ransacked, if you go on social media, and I ask all the viewers to do so, they've gone in and smashed chandeliers and sofas and cupboards and taken out stuff, taking their cars, and thrown women like their 80-year-old mother out of the house and sealed it. They sealed my house, They threw all my workers and my dog and everything else. They put my cousin into prison for 2 months, who has nothing to do with politics whatsoever.
And this is because they're trying to target you?
This is because they're trying to target me and my other first cousin, who's also an MP and an ex-minister, and make the family sort of give in, which hasn't happened. None of us two are the only ones that are active in politics, and us two have and inshallah never will, given to this pressure. But this is what they're trying to do. So either you give a press conference, and that you're leaving Imran Khan, or you will face dire consequences, which is from imprisonment to abduction. We have people's brothers, sisters, workers that are abducted. So they're not even in the system. There's one thing when you're in the system, we know which prison you're in, there's some kind of case against you, or a frivolous case has been made, a fraudulent case has been made. But there's another thing when when you're abducted in the middle of the night, and till this day, your family doesn't know. We have like 6-7 of those. That the family till this day doesn't know which system you're in. Are you alive? Are you dead? Are you tortured to death? Are you not? So this is the unfortunate bit that's going on. But despite that, I will take this opportunity to thank and say well done to those who have stuck by it, because the last 16 months have seen the biggest crackdown on the largest political party in the country. Yet they have barely been able to even crack 10% of our elected MPs and MNAs.
Can you yourself return to Pakistan today?
I mean, I will when the election date is announced and you have to file for nominations, because I intend on contesting. But obviously they have, again, there are live videos of me standing on the bonnet of Imran Khan's car trying to quiet down the police and our workers so there's no confrontation. And instead, terrorism charges were placed on me. And where you can see me sticking out my hands on both sides in the line of fire and trying to calm them both down and getting angry at our workers that step back. But yet there are these charges, so there's arrest warrants. So obviously the reason why I haven't gone back as yet, because I know I won't make it past the airport. And, I've been given a responsibility of international media and lobbying and so on and so forth. So I can't do that from a prison cell.
And what has that role for you been like on the outside, in terms of the conversations that you've been having with officials here in the UK, in the US, and other parts? What are they telling you? What are you telling them?
Look, I've traveled around the world, so there's a few countries, from GCC to UK that I've visited, and I've had meetings with high profiles and the highest of profiles of people. There's lots of concern, but I'd use the phrase disappointing concern. It's like a tilt to the left and, I'm so sorry to hear this. And it's like, can you maybe raise your voice and say something? Do you mind going out there and saying, look, we want to see democracy prevail in Pakistan. We're not asking you to take our side. We don't want anyone to take our side. We want people to take the side of democracy. We want people to take the side of human rights. And 240 million people are looking at the bigger superpowers of the world, or the friendly, neighboring, brotherly countries, to say that, look, just give Pakistan a fighting chance for democracy. But the silence is disappointing. There's none of that. You get the occasional, well, we want elections, but that's also been destroyed because Pakistan is unconstitutional at the moment. 90 days will be up, and the constitution says that within 90 days, a caretaker cannot go one day beyond. And they've announced elections in January. And so that is completely unconstitutional, but there's silence. So I would say there's disappointing support, really.
Was there an expectation when Imran Khan was pushed out of office that there would be more of a reaction from the rest of the world?
I think that when he was arrested, we expected more of a reaction because it was quite blatant what was happening. Hence, he came out again in 72 hours odd. So, but I think, and when it comes to media, I think the media really, I give credit to them. They really come to the fight when something happens to him. But then there just becomes a back burner story. And it's like, okay, Imran Khan's in prison. It's really sad. A guy like that doesn't deserve to be in prison. And then that's it until something next happens. So that's disappointing. But again, I think what has been the most disappointing is that every single person I've spoken to knows that there's injustice going on. But yet no one wants to come out and say it.
What are you hoping for? What are you lobbying for? Diplomatic pressure? Would you like to see the administration here in the UK, in the US, come out and put pressure on Pakistan's government to overturn some of these charges?
Well, look, it's a fine line. I don't want and I don't need international or other countries to meddle and interfere into Pakistani problems. But at the end of the day, we look towards more developed, mature, democratic countries to raise their voice or lead the way when it comes towards democracy. And at the same time, it can't be both ways. When we've all now factually seen ultimatums and consequences given on one instance, then why is it not possible for the same country to give consequences and ultimatums for the same thing for 240 million people? If you can do it to oust and remove the rights of a sitting prime minister, why can't you do it to give the rights of 240 million people? And again, we're not saying that should be us. Pick whoever you want. But give the Pakistani people or help them gain the right to self-determination. That's what we want.
A couple of days ago, the interim Prime Minister, Anwar Haq spoke at the U.S. Council of Foreign Relations. And during that speech, he celebrated 6 decades of allyship between both countries. There is a suggestion, and certainly Imran Khan himself said that the reason that there was pressure from the U.S. to try and remove him was because of his perceived anti-American stances. Do you think the U.S. administration is happier without him in office today?
I think it's much easier for the U.S. to navigate within Pakistan without Imran Khan there. As far as it goes, Imran Khan being anti-America, I mean, you couldn't be more wrong. When President Trump was in power, we had a phenomenal tour of the U.S. We were welcomed very well. And when we came back to Pakistan, we were even welcomed even more. So it showed that neither the people of Pakistan or the Prime Minister had anything anti-America, despite who was in office or not in office. But what happened that after that, maybe, the Democratic administration and Biden's administration perhaps didn't see Imran Khan as, a choice that they're so happy with was unfortunate. And I think that happened because there was a lack of communication. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough communication between us and America at the time when we were in power and the beginning of President Biden's regime. So I think that's all it is. As far as any anti-America, that's not. Imran Khan is not anti anyone. He's the most peace-loving guy. He never has believed in any warfare in any region. He believes giving every country a chance at face value. So we wanted the best of relations with anyone. We only wanted economic prosperity. And that was the only thing. And America plays a huge component of that, if we like it or not. So why would we want to jeopardize any form of relationship with one of our biggest economic players?
But there was a market shift during his administration away from being a de facto U.S. ally in the region to a country that was very visibly warming up to China. Imran Khan was visiting Saudi Arabia back in 2019 when it was persona non grata on the international arena. And most recently, him being in Russia on the eve of the Ukraine invasion, which pushed for that infamous diplomatic cable to come through. Was there an idea that the U.S. was really unhappy with where Pakistan was and it needed some sort of course correction?
I mean, look, you have to break it down. Is U.S. unhappy if the Prime Minister of Pakistan takes more than 3, flights in a year, he has to go to different countries. He has to visit his allies, his neighboring countries, and especially the region we live in, our brotherly countries, and countries that have been with us through thick and thin, like Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia is a huge component of basically Pakistani fabric. We have such ties that are, you can say, unbreakable. And so, like I said, Imran Khan always wanted to maintain a good relationship with everyone at face value. And that's the way he operated his foreign policy. And he would do everything it takes to create the best sort of atmosphere and economic prosperity for his people. Now, we can't start worrying about that's going to happen and what someone in Kentucky is going to be thinking if Imran Khan is going to Saudi Arabia. As far as it goes for Russia, we haven't had a premier of ours go to Russia for, I think, over a decade. If I'm not mistaken, maybe in 15 odd years. President Putin is a reality. And we looked at one of our biggest problems as gas and energy and grain. And we saw an opportunity, which we were working on for 18 months, because if you look through our media, our newspapers, we were being criticized for the freights of our gas and pricing going up, everywhere in the world. And if we had an opportunity getting cheaper gas from a different country, and President Putin has welcomed the visit after maybe 10, 15 odd years, why would we not take it? Did we know anything about Ukraine being attacked the time while we were there? Absolutely, of course not. And we made it evidently clear. So we only went for our people and to see what we can get the best out of both countries, which creates more ease in a very tough time. Our government, we had to face 2 years of COVID. So I think, if that irked anyone, does that justify that cable? Or does that justify that now we want this government out all of a sudden? So meaning you are not allowed to take a flight anywhere unless we sanction it. So then Imran Khan might as well just remain on ECL and in prison the whole time, because he can't go anywhere, which irks one country or the other, because the world is just a place right now where people are upset. But that's what diplomacy is. When Iran and Saudi Arabia started to kick off when the Houthis attacked Aramco, Imran Khan was the first to put his hands up at the UN and said, I want to play the role of a peacemaker. And he said the same thing to President Putin. So you have a person there willing to put his neck on the line and promote peace. Why is that a problem?
Another one of Imran Khan's close allies, the Turkish president Recep Tayyip Erdogan, was, after Imran was pushed out of power, Erdogan came through and congratulated Shehbaz Sharif when he was appointed prime minister. Was there a certain disappointment that him as a close ally didn't stand by Imran Khan after he was out of office?
Look, again, it comes to, President Erdogan is the president of Turkey. And he has to do, and the people of Turkey and people of Pakistan are very close. And we have very close ties. So he has to do what is best for his country, despite who's in power. He might have a personal preference, but you'll have to ask him that. But, as a president of a country, if someone else has come in, unless he is doing something which is anti-Turkey, it's diplomatic norms to greet each other, congratulate one another, and so be it. So we're a mature party, and Imran Khan knows that. What President Erdogan's personal preference may be, I don't know.
And so what does the fight look like then for Imran Khan from PTI today inside Pakistan? What avenues do you as a party have, does he as a leader have, to try and push through what's happening right now?
Well, at the moment, the main thing is that we stay close-knit as a party. The good thing is that's not very difficult, because whoever has left his party has not been able to show his face in public. So people with millions of Twitter followers that used to get 50, 60,000 likes now don't get 200-300 once they left Imran Khan. This is the power that he's possessing at the moment. And the biggest of biggest electables who may not even believe in Imran Khan and his ethos in its absolute originality, are not leaving him and sticking by him because they know that they'll lose such a big vote bank in their constituencies. So right now, wherever Imran Khan is pointing to, that person is becoming a hero or is becoming popular. So in that way, he's in a comfortable position. Point is to keep it that way, and the target is to keep the party together. However, we are just pushing for elections. Having Imran Khan in prison or out of prison, we believe doesn't change the dynamics of the elections. An Imran Khan in prison is even more powerful for us and the best election campaign one can ask for. Imagine going to your constituency and saying, don't vote for me, but vote for the man in prison. That's far more powerful than him being out and being allowed to, go around the country and start his campaign. So we just want to get to elections in one way or the other. And we just want to, we request the international media, we request the all the international countries, that we want them to at least raise their voice for a free and fair, transparent election, which at the moment it's not. You can't go around saying we want Pakistan to have free and fair elections when what is happening right now is pre-poll rigging, clamping down on all of us, not allowing us to go out on the road, Imran Khan to be in prison. Imran Khan's name is not allowed to be mentioned on national television at the moment. We have 200 channels. And you can't say his name. So people refer to him as Suleiman's father or Qasim's father or the ex-prime minister of Pakistan of 2018. This is how ridiculous it is. And this is going on in 2023.
So why is this happening?
Well, because there's been clear instructions given that Imran Khan is not allowed to appear on national television. His picture is not allowed to come on any of the 200 odd channels. His name is not allowed to appear. There's a list of all the leaders that are not allowed to come on national television. So basically, the top tier can't come. And we can't leave. I can't stick up a PTI flag on my house. None of my workers can do it. If they do it, they're arrested. So is this not pre-poll rigging? So how can you, on one stage, you ask for free and fair elections, but up to the elections, everything is being done to clamp down on one particular party? If you're allowed to stick up the flag of PML Noon, Nawaz Sharif's party, why can we not stick up the flag of Imran Khan's party? Or if you can stick it up of Asif Ali Zardari's party, why can't you stick it up of Imran Khan's party? So how is this free and fair? So if this is now, what's going to happen closer to the election days? Are we all going to get arrested? When we file our nominations, are we going to get arrested at that? And if that's the case, then is that not pre-poll rigging? All the threats that are coming. So I just urge, the international community that, please raise your voice, that right now give everyone breathing space. You wanted to arrest Imran Khan, you wanted to disqualify him from the political landscape of Pakistan. That's done. He's in prison, he's in solitary confinement, he's disqualified until he gets, until it goes up further. We'll fight that in court. But why is his whole party being dismantled? Why are we not being given the opportunity to continue on with our politics? All we want to do is go back to normal politics. We criticize your policies, we criticize what you do, you criticize our policies, what we do, and we just want to go back to normal politics.
मेरे पाकिस्तानियों, जब तक ये पैगाम आप तक पहुंचेगा, मुझे ये अरेस्ट कर चुके होंगे और मैं जेल में होऊंगा, तो मेरी आपसे सिर्फ एक ही रिक्वेस्ट है, अपील है कि आपने घरों में चुप करके नहीं बैठना. मैं ये जो जद्दोजहद कर रहा हूँ, ये अपनी ज़ात के लिए नहीं कर रहा, ये अपनी कौम के लिए कर रहा हूँ, आपके लिए कर रहा हूँ, आपके बच्चों के मुस्तकबिल के लिए कर रहा हूँ. अगर आप अपने हकूक़ के लिए नहीं खड़े होंगे, आप ग़ुलामों की ज़िंदगी गुजारेंगे, और ग़ुलामों की कोई ज़िंदगी नहीं होती. ग़ुलाम ऐसे होते हैं जैसे चूंटियाँ ज़मीन पे होती हैं, उनके ऊपर परवाज़ नहीं होती.
Imran Khan has publicly blamed the military and specifically the former military chief of being behind this push to take him out of the political arena and maybe behind some of the charges against him. What is the role that the military plays in the political landscape of Pakistan?
Look, the military without a doubt plays a huge role throughout the existence of Pakistan. Not only when there's a martial law and there's dictatorship in the country, but also when there's a democratic party in power. They play a massive role. That's without a doubt. Now, the point is that democratically working together, how do we lessen the role of the military, and how do we sort of reconcile and a country like Pakistan, which is a sort of army-driven state due to India being a neighbor, Afghanistan on one side. So there's a lot of power possessed in that, not only military-wise, but also if you look at Pakistan, if I'm not mistaken, close to 55% of our private sector is owned by one subsidiary or the other of the military. So, similar to Egypt. So when you're so entrenched, it's not going to go away overnight, and we shouldn't be childish enough to expect it either. But there has to be a working relationship where slowly and gradually the politicians do what politicians are meant to do, and the army does what the army is meant to do. And that space will only come now where I see there's a bigger polarization within the public. And the only way that the military, I think, now can sort of, have that, gain that love back in the people that it's always had and maintained, and which it should. But recently we feel that it's probably lessened because everyone feels that, like you said, the ex-army chief played a major role maybe in Imran Khan's ouster and all that. So to get rid of that, the only way is press the reset button, and that's elections. And if you have free and fair elections, the establishment and the army comes away from it. They let the us political animals fight it out, and I think that will create a very good goodwill within the public, and that will start giving the opportunity for politics and the establishment to get along better.
And I mean, it's almost kind of an open secret that it's difficult, if not impossible, for anyone to enter the political arena, but also the government in Pakistan without at least the blessing of the army or their kind of implicit or explicit support. And this was true for Imran Khan's government coming into power as well. What happened that turned or soured that relationship between the government and the military?
Look, when you speak of the military as a whole, I challenge anyone to do a survey within the entire military, from bottom to all the way to the top. And I think Imran Khan will cross over 80% in terms of acceptance. Now, when you're talking about a certain 4 to 6 of the hierarchy generals of the military, that's a bit different. That changes with time. I don't think that always remains constant, because they have 10 plans up their sleeves. Things change every day in the country. As they, let's say, like you used the word blessed Shehbaz Sharif for 14 to 16 months to run the government, he ran it to the ground. There was this notion, or this preconceived notion, that he was the best administrator Pakistan has ever seen, and he absolutely destroyed the country in 14 to 16 months. It's the worst economic performance ever by any prime minister. So they would probably be thinking in their mind, we got to reconfigure here. The guy we put our money on is complete, utter failure. So now where do we look? So that will constantly be changing, and so will our political strategy. So, Imran Khan was acceptable, but Imran Khan was acceptable in 2013 when he swept the province of KP, and we were very popular then. And he was acceptable, but everyone keeps trying to lay this notion that the army brought him in. We completely forget that Imran Khan fought for 27 years. His first election, he lost every single seat. And at that time, I remember watching it. I was a child. I remember my sisters and I were watching the elections, and BBC, CNN, everyone was all around Imran Khan, as if there is no other competition in this election in Imran Khan, and he didn't win one seat. Same thing happened in the next election, and then finally he won one seat. And then in 2013 we got a break with KP, and then in 2018 he became prime minister. But Imran Khan in 2018, was he brought in by the military, or being brought in was a given due to his popularity? And was his popularity or his majority actually lessened and curbed by the military? I can countlessly say, I can guarantee you, and I can take an oath. I spoke to 2-3 people in the province of Sindh who were contesting. They were colleagues of mine, friends of mine from different parties. And I called them at night, how's your election going, on a friendly note. And they said, brother, we lost. We've lost, but we're trying something, maybe. Next morning, they came out with a slim majority and they won from a different party. And, they used their contacts, let's say, within the military. So would PTI have won more seats? So, where was our majority actually curbed? And then the accusation comes that we were brought into power. At the same time, we have over 40 seats, or roughly around 40 seats, that we lost with less than 5,000 votes. So if it was the army bringing us in and helping us, the army doesn't change 30 to 40,000 votes, or any sort of rigging can't change 30 to 40,000 sweep in an election. It only when it's a close contest. But we lost 40 seats under the range of 5,000 votes. So if we gained those, if we had such a link up with the army that they helped us, then why wouldn't they have helped us with those 40 seats, and we would have 40 more people as a majority, which would have resulted in not any no vote of no confidence not being able to take place because we would have such a strong majority. So this is a preconceived notion that anyone can help that much. That's why we are so confident that despite the crackdown, despite main leadership being in prison and us all being either in exile or in hiding, we still feel that if we have an election and people are allowed to come out and the voter turnout is high, maybe above 42%, nothing can stop PTI from winning.
Not even the military?
No one can, because it's not physical, unless you physically in front of live cameras go and beat up people and grab the ballot boxes. Overnight or something, you can only change 10, 15, 20,000 votes at max. You can't change around when we're going to be sweeping in big numbers. So, and that's even given. But, like I said, we need to come to a position ideally, and again, it's not an overnight thing, it's a transition over a decade or two, where we are happy in our spaces. We don't need to intervene in the army space at all, and the army doesn't need to interface in the electoral space at all. And that's where we should be aiming to for 10 years. But you need 10 years of consistency. Pakistan never has that. No prime minister has ever fulfilled his term. I mean, that's the most bizarre stat you'll ever see, that no prime minister has single-handedly been able to complete his entire term.
Why has that political instability plagued Pakistan since its inception? Why has this reality continued to exist? Is this because of the role that army plays in politics?
Look, it definitely is a reason that the establishment has in politics. But, we can't just say we put all the blame on them. Maybe our politicians have also been failures in the past not to navigate it better. If we take things in hindsight, could we, if we say that we couldn't have navigated things a little bit better, even if it meant sometimes you take a punch on the face and, but then, then you're not a politician. So I think the navigation aspect has to be better, because it's wrong to say that despite whichever party they are, it would be wrong for me to say that they're all traitors to the country. Nor can we ever say that, the military is not 100% for Pakistan. I mean, they bleed and die and live for Pakistan. So that's not the case either. So then that means that there has to be a better navigation between the two. And the problem with that only happens is because their roles aren't well defined. And this is might be a naive notion of mine, but I genuinely believe this because the roles are not well defined. And there's so many gray spaces which things can't happen, and the electoral government the democratic government wants to play a leading role in it, and the military says, no, we want to play a leading role in it, and then a clash takes place. So I think once that sort of definition enhances, things will become much better and easier.
Did the military feel like Imran Khan was trying to challenge that position that they have in the country during his time? Is that why that there was this falling out between them?
Again, I would just say, bit that I'll just add is that the problem is that when any prime minister comes in, he believes his relationship is with the chief of army staff, with one human being. The relation should be of the military with the PM office, regardless if it's an Imran Khan or X, Y, and Z. And regardless if it's with a General Bajwa or X, Y, and Z, the relationship should be of the two highest offices. And that's it. The problem is that we in politics end up becoming too like engaged with each other, where you're besties 1 minute and then next minute you're foes, and it doesn't remain like a defined professional relationship. I feel that that's the problem. Even with us, I believe that was the problem. I think we were definitely too cozy with a few of the generals, and it shouldn't be, because it should be a relationship of offices only, and the army chief office has to respect the PM office, and the PM office has to vice versa respect the other office. And I think the decisions then that were made at that time by the chief of army staff were very personal decisions, and there started becoming personal grudges between the two. And hence, that then started getting, just started increasing, and certain things and certain moves were made behind the scenes to oust Imran Khan for sure. I mean, that's as evident as day now.
Imran Khan has been described, certainly in international media, as a kind of populist or a sort of outside figure. But as you mentioned, he's been a staple of the political process for the last 27 years. And you mentioned the memories that you have as a child of kind of seeing him enter into the political arena and engage people and politics. I want to ask you about your relationship with Imran Khan. When did you meet him? When did you begin to realize that this was a leader that you wanted to follow and support up until today?
My family is a political family, but I was born and bred here in London. And I met him in 2008 through via a mutual friend. And although my family had started shifting towards him and had joined his party at the time, which wasn't the party that it is today. I wasn't so engrossed into Pakistani politics, didn't really worry about it too much. And but as I started becoming friends with him, I never knew how much of an inspiring human being he was. I mean, I played cricket, I was always into cricket, but I didn't really think that Imran Khan was all that inspiring, and that you would give up your life and career and go to Pakistan and join politics. But within a few years, he just sort of dominated your frame of thought and motivated you, and that's the type of person he is. And like I was giving the example before we started, was like his cricket when in '92, there's a famous story. The manager of the cricket team says that he went to Imran Khan and said, look, points table, we're pretty much out, we have to win every single game from here on in, so where should I book the tickets, like via, I think it was Singapore or via Dubai back to Pakistan from Australia. And Imran Khan just kind of looked at him and discussed, like, what are you talking about? We're winning the World Cup. And he's thinking, hey man, you haven't seen the points table, but his belief was just absolute certain, even when the chips were completely against you. That's the same belief the same Imran Khan has in politics. Like I said, he lost completely his first election. I mean, in politics wise, to be a leader of a political party just now established, you're the biggest celebrity in the country, you're the biggest brand name in the country, and you got demolished all ends up, is very embarrassing. But he didn't even feel it, and he was in his banter and his chat used to still be like, when I become PM. And a lot of the older party members tell me that we used to be looking at him saying, I don't think he remembers he's lost every seat, or he just won his seat. He's never going to be PM, but his belief just continued him, and in 2018 he became Prime Minister. That's the Imran Khan that we have. He's in a cell, he's motivated, he keeps giving the strongest of messaging to his workers when whoever goes and sees him. He's in high spirits. I mean, that's Imran Khan.
We saw the images of those mass rallies that took place last year and into this year, and as you point out, he is arguably more popular now than he was before his arrest. What is it that people see in him? What does he represent for his supporters?
In one word, hope. Imran Khan, everyone looks at him as hope. Pakistan has, we have a lot of problems, especially economically and otherwise. And Imran Khan is that one person that people look at, hope. But, we can be criticized for so many things in our tenure. Some of them may be right, some of them may be wrong. But one thing that Imran Khan brought to Pakistan and to the diaspora abroad and to the people of Pakistan was dignity. a lot of people felt a lot of dignity when he was the Prime Minister of Pakistan. I've met people from other countries, especially Muslim countries, and when his UN speech was translated into various languages, and when I meet them around the world, that's what they say. They said his UN speech, I have it on my phone, it's translated in Arabic or it's translated in a different language. And I think he just brought that sense of people saw that there was someone proud with a lot of integrity standing there and wants to make a change, wants to lead his country from the front, and wants to own who he is and not just live this sort of lifestyle of pandering to much more successful or bigger or powerful countries, but kind of talk to them on a level playing field. We know what our difficulties are. We know where we need help from you. But at the same time, we're not going to lose our dignity over it.
And there is, as you mentioned, an numerous amount of very serious crises that the country is going through right now, whether it's the risk of economic default, the rates of poverty that have been rising over the last couple of years, and there's the devastating floods and the impacts of them that the country is still reeling from today. What is the cost of this prolonged political crisis on the country being able to tackle these issues? There's an argument, and certainly the argument that his opposition makes, is that the longer this fight continues, the longer the country is held captive by and stopping it from being able to address these issues with elections, with a new government. Is it easier for the country if Imran Khan stands aside and allows politics to continue without him?
Okay, so we have economic issues, floods, as you mentioned. We also have the rise of terrorism in the country, and all studies show that terrorism is very closely linked to poverty as well. So we've got a array of issues. Now, so let me get this straight. So the solution is to all these problems that there shouldn't be an Imran Khan. But the solution is what they're saying is that there should just be free and fair elections and whoever wins, the country backs it. So it's the most bizarre scenario that the opposition is giving, that to move on, we need Imran Khan not to be there. Not to say that let's just fight it out in the political arena. Let every man have the right to self-determination. Whoever wins, let them rule for 5 years undisturbed. Criticize them, be a strong opposition, go on your chat shows, discuss policy, but let them rule for 5 years. I'm a key believer in that. But this ridiculous notion to say that country can go on without Imran Khan is basically you saying that we will fight, but we don't want that opponent. We want the weaker one. And as long as he's not in the game, we have a chance. And the second thing is, Imran Khan's in prison. Imran Khan is disqualified. But as a member of his party, I'm also saying bring on elections. Bring on free and fair elections. We will fight the elections while Imran Khan is in prison and disqualified from it. So why are you fearing him so much? And the last thing I'll say on that is that all these problems are there because there's political instability. You cannot have economic stability without having political stability. 2019 was the safest year in Pakistan for maybe close to 2 decades, in our government, and 2020 as well. Things are just rapidly getting worse. So to stabilize this, you need, in the last 16 months, which the main thing we've had is that no one wants to invest in the country because they don't know which way it's going. Now, if you're going to do a sham election, the result of this sham election is going to be that 240 million people are going to feel they did not get the right to vote as the way that they thought they would or they should or they have the right to. So when the result of the sham election comes out, the people's feeling is going to be exactly the same as it has been for 16 odd months. So the question is that are you going to be in any different place after an election from where you are today? If people don't feel they had a chance of having a free and fair, transparent election. So what you're trying to gain from it is not going to work. If everyone feels that it was a fair election. Again, despite who wins, we may lose, let's say hypothetically. But if the people don't feel that it was a fair election, then people won't believe in it. And when they don't believe in it, the government that is bought in won't have the strength to make strong decisions that will lead to some sort of repair that has been done in the last 16 odd months and bring it to some sort of economic revival. Because you'll have to make tough decisions. But to make tough decisions, you need the buy-in of the public. The leader who is elected needs to stand on a podium and address his people and say, look, the next 6 months are going to be very, very tough. And these are the 5 things I'm going to do. But you have to trust me and bear with me. Now, the people that are standing there, or should be standing there, if they're saying, buddy, we never voted for you. We know you've been brought in through the back door and it's a rigged election. How are you going to get that buy-in? So again, Pakistan will be exactly where it's been for the last 16 months. So it's a no-win situation, which is the alarming thing that we are saying, that neither the establishment nor anyone from any political party is understanding. They're only thinking one thing, not Imran Khan. That's not, Baba, Imran Khan is not the make or break of this. The point is what you are trying to do, otherwise it's not going to work. You know, it's not the solution to where Pakistan has to go to able to repair. You've taken Pakistan back 5 to 10 years in the last 16 months. I guarantee you. You need at least 5 to 7 years of consistency to repair what's happened in the last 16 odd months in Pakistan. So just focusing on, eliminating Imran Khan, God forbid, via his life or from the political landscape is not the solution. The people must believe that what has happened and what they have voted for has actually translated into the electoral vote. If that is not there, it doesn't matter if it's Imran Khan or any other party leader, it won't work with the masses of the people.
Would PTI contest the elections without Imran Khan as its leader?
Ultimately, he would make that decision. But, Imran Khan, for the last 16 months, we also, and again, the international community needs to understand, he's only asked for one thing. He hasn't asked for his internet flats in Mayfair being, allowed to him or money in offshore accounts. He's asked for one thing only, and that is free and fair elections. So at the end of the day, if we feel as a party, I think, but I haven't spoken to Imran Khan, but I think if Imran Khan feels that the elections are going to be free and fair, then of course that's what he's been fighting for the last 16 months, and I'm sure Imran Khan is the best strategic guy you'll meet, strategist there is. So I'm sure he will give us a plan very soon.
And finally, what is your hope for Pakistan in the next couple of years, if it is to survive and reverse, as you mentioned, this 16 months of turmoil? What lies on the other end, and what do you hope that image of the country looks like?
I think in the last 16 months, our image has taken a huge hit. Everyone knows, even if they say it or don't say it in the international community and in international media, everyone knows what is going on. And it's taken a massive hit in the country. It's made it look like a banana republic, unfortunately. And that is not the look that we've been trying for and working for and given up our lives to really build on. I think what Pakistan needs is stability and consistency. You can handle anything. Like in UK, when property laws change and rules and taxations change, people start stepping back from investing because you need consistency. And until you have consistency in Pakistan, no one is going to take it seriously. They need to know that the government is constant for its term. They need to know that the policies laid down, fundamental policies, other policies may change between, parties and governments, but fundamental policies remain the same. We gave national health care. Just because we gave it, the government removed it when they came in. I mean, a poor person was getting free health care. If anything, you should have enhanced it and got your votes from it. But just because Imran Khan did it, they took away health care. So, consistency has to come into Pakistan for it to really recover. If we're going to have these 2-year shifts each, there's never going to be real economic deployment or capital in the country. Forget about it. The ecosystem won't be enough to absorb any real amount of money or deployment.
So political stability is key.
Political stability for the next 5 to 10 years is key.
Zulfi Bukhari, thank you so much for being with us today. It was a pleasure.
My pleasure is all mine. Thank you so much.
Thank you for watching this episode of The Big Picture. It is the beginning of our brand new season of the show. And thank you, of course, to Zulfi Bukhari for being our guest. Please share your thoughts on everything we discussed this episode, from Imran Khan's case to the situation in Pakistan to the new elections that are expected in January. As always, you can find this episode and all of our episodes in audio format wherever you get your podcasts from. Please like and subscribe, please share, and until next time, salam.